Welcome to Leadership Moments.
In every great leader's life, there are pivotal moments that shape their character, test their resilience, and awaken their vision.
Together, we'll uncover the invaluable lessons hidden within these transformative moments.
So welcome back to another episode of our podcast.
That's great, Tracy Ann. And I'm Stacey Castor. Today, we're going to dive deep into a topic that continues to shape the future of work, economies, and personal fulfillment, entrepreneurship in the new era.
Love it. So that's right, Stacey. You know, entrepreneurship has really evolved into a global phenomenon. And we've been looking at the recent data, which shows that more people than ever are taking the leap. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but the point is it's an era where the word entrepreneur has really evolved from being just a business term to a lifestyle choice. A lot of that is driven by, innovation, purpose, and a real desire to create a meaningful impact. So let's get started and let's talk about some of the stats to maybe connect the dots for everybody and give everyone a little bit of context.
Yeah, that sounds great. Would love to do that. So according to the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor 2024, there are now approximately 582 million entrepreneurs worldwide. Wow. So what's really interesting about that is that 46% of these entrepreneurs are women, marking a significant rise from the previous years, which Tracy Ann and I love. So it's great.
Yeah, that's really good to hear, first of all, because those numbers are very different to perhaps what it looks like in C-level executive suites within corporate, as we know.
Yeah, good point.
So it's great to see that women are rising and taking a chance on themselves. Let's just break it down, though. So we're going to look at it by continent. So we see in North America, I think there's about 48% of entrepreneurs are women, right? So around about the same stat. Interesting, though, in Africa, women make up 58% of entrepreneurs, which is the highest percentage globally.
I never would have thought that. Never would have thought Africa. It's great.
Never. It's great. Absolutely. In Europe, it's about 37%, and Asia, it's roughly 41%, which, for Asia, again, I think that's really, really good. And then Latin America, which does not surprise me at all, it's coming in at about 50%, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is. And the data really highlights the growing role of women in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When we look at industries, women entrepreneurs are heavily represented in sectors like healthcare and social assistance at about 27%. Educational services are about 20%, and then retail trade about 18%. However, there's also a growing presence in traditional male-dominated fields like technology and finance, where women now make up 13% and 9% respectively. So, speaking of these industries, Tracy Ann, what are the top sectors for anyone considering entrepreneurship in 2024?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So there's really 5 main sectors. The first one, no surprise to anyone in our audience, technology and AI. AI and machine learning is poised to contribute about 15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. So tech startups still remain a really, really hot area, okay? The next area, again, no surprise to anyone in this industry, green and sustainable businesses. And I think a lot of that also, as we think about multi-generational and the generations coming up, I think that also has a lot to do with it. The global green technology market projected to grow at a CAGR of 27.5%.
Huge.
From 2024 to 2030. Crazy,
That's
right?
Huge.
Huge. Another one, healthcare biotech. Again, I don't think any surprise to anybody, especially after the pandemic. We're looking at that, the expected market value around 10 trillion by 2025. And then e-commerce. I mean, e-commerce continues to grow, right? Global e-commerce sales expected to reach 8 trillion by 2026. And then EdTech. So the education technology sector is projected to go 377 billion. Let me repeat that, 377 billion by 2028. And a lot of that is driven by the remote, hybrid, digital learning solutions.
Yeah. And let's not forget the creative industries as well. So content creation, digital marketing, and online coaching are booming, especially with over 85% of companies increasing their content marketing budget in 2024. 85% increase in their content marketing. That's how important this is, right?
Crazy.
And it's crazy. And the landscape has shifted so much that nearly 62% of Gen Z and 54% of millennials or Gen Y now say that they prefer to work for themselves rather than someone else. And it's really fascinating to see this shift and where this new generation isn't just thinking about jobs, but rather creating their own platforms for impact. When you think about that as leaders in corporations, it's time to think about how do you help these Gen Z and Gen Y want to come into your corporation when they also want to do entrepreneurship. So what are the shifts that need to happen there?
Yeah. And it goes back to the conversation we had around entrepreneurship.
Yes, exactly.
If you want these individuals in your company, then you have to start thinking about, how do you create those innovation labs, right? Those entrepreneurship innovation labs. But speaking of impact, let's talk a little bit about the economic side of this entrepreneurial boom. So according to the World Bank, and this is crazy, by the way, small and medium-sized businesses represent 90% of businesses and more than 50% of employment worldwide. So really what I'm saying is they are the backbone of many economies. Yet we all know that they really do face, unique challenges in this new era.
Yeah, that's so true. So let's also talk about the challenges, right? And those challenges aren't small as we want to think about that. So despite the increase in entrepreneurial activity, about 20% of small businesses fail within the first year, and nearly 50% do not survive beyond 5 years. So it really underscores the importance of resilience and adaptability in entrepreneurship today. So, despite the increasing number of women entrepreneurs, they still receive only 2.1% of venture capital funding, which is actually down slightly from 2.3% in 2020. So this really indicates that while the number of female entrepreneurs is growing, access to capital remains a significant hurdle for them.
Yeah, it's still, funding is still a major issue. Now, what we have seen is this alternative funding sources, which are gaining a bit of traction. In 2024, the crowdfunding grew about 35%. I think it was over 34 billion raised globally. 34 billion, okay? Platforms like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, those are becoming vital for women and minority entrepreneurs looking to bypass traditional funding routes. And it's not even the bypass, it's that they're not even getting it. So they actually have to go to these places. But it's not just the funding that's changing. So the way we define and measure success is also evolving. Today, 67% of entrepreneurs say they measure success, listen to this, by their personal fulfillment rather than just financial gain. So it's not saying they don't want to make money. Absolutely, they want to make money. But it's getting to the stage of personal fulfillment, which starts to become really interesting.
Yeah, we found that with a lot of our generations in the workforce, research that we've been doing over the last year on how they want to do this. It's not just about the financial. Of course, everybody wants to make money. That's not a lie, but there's more to it than that. And it's really an incredible point. It shows that being digitally savvy is not just an advantage, but a necessity. We're also seeing a shift toward purpose-driven entrepreneurship. About 76% of entrepreneurs now say that they are motivated by a desire to make a positive impact on society and not just profit.
It's really a holistic approach to entrepreneurship. And let's also not forget the role technology plays in all of this. McKinsey did a report that shows that investing in digital technologies are 2.5 times more likely to grow faster than their peers.
Wow. And as technology becomes more accessible, we're seeing more opportunities for entrepreneurs in emerging markets. The World Bank notes that digital entrepreneurship has grown by 20% annually in regions like sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia over the last 5 years.
I got to tell you, Stacey, and I know you feel the same way. I mean, it's so inspiring to see this. Really, it's so inspiring. And, it just shows you, I really believe this. We've spoken about this, and that's why we wanted to actually bring it to the podcast this week, that this is the new era of entrepreneurship, and it is truly global.
Yeah, it's really an important shift. And there's another trend that we should probably mention, which is the rise of the hybrid entrepreneurship. And that's where people are maintaining their traditional jobs while launching their side hustles. And in fact, 42% of all entrepreneurs in 2024 fall into this category, which is up from 37% in 2022. So I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people that have side hustles going on.
Everyone I know has got side hustles going on, okay? And there's actually a whole nother conversation that, you want to have about that. But here's the thing. I think hybrid entrepreneurship is a really smart strategy. Especially considering that around 39% of your new businesses, they're still struggling to break even in those first 3 years. It's very rare that you're going to come out of the gate and, you're making high profits. So it offers, in my opinion, a little bit of a safety net while it's allowing other, people to really go and build their businesses gradually. One of the other factors that's influencing this era is also, I know we know this, but this number was still staggering to me. A record high 4.1 million Americans are expected to turn 65 in 2024. It's called, the silver tsunami of retirees. And however, not all of them will retire. Some are not going to be able to afford it.
Yeah, exactly. And additionally, the layoffs that are impacting the surge of entrepreneurships, 384 tech companies have laid off more than 124,000 employees just in 2024. And adding to the 428,449 tech workers who lost their jobs in 2022 and 2023. So that is 500,000 people that lost their jobs in tech in 3 years.
Just tech.
Right? There's lots of other areas that people are losing jobs too.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. And, Stacey, I really believe that we all need the multiple streams of income. I know that's for another day, another discussion, but I think the reality is that's why we're seeing this hybrid model, because anyone can be laid off at any time. It does not matter how good you are. And it's critical to ensure that we're ready for whatever happens.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, let's wrap up with a few key takeaways for our listeners. So first, this is a moment of unprecedented opportunity across various sectors, from tech to green business to content creation. And second, while challenges like funding remain, new pathways are emerging. So crowdfunding, alternative finance, and hybrid models offer new avenues for success.
And it's an era of unprecedented opportunity. So for the audience out there, it is the era of entrepreneurship. It is so exciting. So with digital tools and platforms and AI, anyone with an idea and the determination to see it through has the potential to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, resilience and adaptability are more crucial than ever. The path isn't always easy, for sure, but those willing to navigate the challenges, the rewards can be immense. And finally, remember that success is personal. It's not just about profits, but also about impact, purpose, and creating a life that aligns with your values.
Oh, beautifully summarized, Stacey. So, for our audience, to all of you, those aspiring entrepreneurs out there, those side hustlers, right? Keep pushing forward, stay resilient, don't give up, and don't be afraid to innovate.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to subscribe, share, and tell us your thoughts on this topic and other topics you want to hear in the future.
And remember, together we can make a difference.
And that concludes another episode of Leadership Moments. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights in what we shared today. Remember, leadership is not defined solely by titles or positions, but by the choices we make and the moments that shape us.
Embrace the challenges that come your way, for they may be the very moments that propel you toward greatness. We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories as well. Connect with us on our website at leadershipmomentspodcast.com or through social media on Instagram at Tracy_Ann Palmer.
And Stacey Castor _. Remember, your leadership moment could be just around the corner, waiting for you to seize it. This is Stacey Castor, and what doesn't challenge you won't change you.
And this is Tracy Ann Palmer. And be the change you wish to see in the world.